Imagine a man who has everything: gold, land, houses, vineyards, power, women, servants, music, knowledge, every pleasure available in the ancient world. He builds, he acquires, he studies, he rules. And then one day he looks at everything he has accumulated and asks one terrifying question: is this all there is? From somewhere inside the ancient Hebrew world comes one of the strangest voices in the Bible. He calls himself Kolaheth. The word is connected to the Hebrew word kohal, to gather, to assemble. This word is something like the one who gathers the assembly, the teacher, the sage, the one who calls everyone into the room because he has something uncomfortable to tell them. Centuries later, the Greek translators would render his title Ecclesiastes. And from the Greek word, we inherit the name Ecclesiastes, that Old Testament wisdom book. For centuries, traditions gave that voice a famous identity, King Solomon. And it isn't difficult to understand why. The book opens with the words of Kohaleth, son of David, king in Jerusalem. Later, the speaker declares, I was king over Israel in Jerusalem. So, who else could that be? Solomon, the legendary king of wisdom, the builder of the temple, the ruler remembered for wealth almost beyond imagination. A man who, according to the biblical tradition, had tasted nearly everything earthly power could provide. And there is something almost perfect about imagining an aging Solomon looking backward across his life. After all the palaces, the riches, the achievements, after the pleasures, and whispering, Hevel, Hevel, everything is Hevel. The Hebrew word Hevel literally evokes something like breath, vapor, mist, something visible for a moment and then gone. Your accomplishments, your possessions, your youth, your reputation, your suffering, your pleasure, your entire life, breath. But here is the mystery deepens. Modern biblical scholars generally do not believe Solomon himself wrote Ecclesiastes. Its Hebrew appears centuries later than Solomon's traditional 10th century BCE world. Many scholars place the book somewhere around the 4th or 3rd century BCE, which means Koheleth may have not been Solomon at all. He may be an unknown Jewish sage writing behind the literary mask of a king, a pseudo pen name. And strangely, that may make the book even more fascinating because perhaps the author wanted us to conduct an experiment. Imagine the human being who gets everything. Give him wealth, give him pleasure, give him knowledge, give him accomplishment, give him power. Let him climb to the very top of the human game and then ask him, what did you discover? His answer? None of it can stop time. Kings die. Empires disappear, beauty fade, fortunes change hands, generations arrive and generations leave. The sun rises and the sun sets. Rivers run toward the sea, and humanity keeps asking the same question. How should I live inside a world I cannot keep? That is the great existential question of Ecclesiastes. And Koheleth refuses to give us easy answers. He looks directly at death, chance, injustice, work, money, pleasure, wisdom, foolishness, ambition, and time, especially time. And then in the 3rd chapter, the mysterious teacher gives us something extraordinary. Not a way to escape time, a way to navigate it. He writes, and I quote, "To everything there is a season, a time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, and a time to uproot, a time to weep, a time to laugh, a time to mourn, and a time to dance." End quote. Suddenly, Koheleth's great insight becomes clear. You cannot stop the wheel, but perhaps you can learn to recognize where on the wheel you're standing. Maybe Ecclesiastes was never written to teach humanity how to control life. Maybe it was written to teach us something much harder, how to live consciously inside change, because the fool demands that every season become summer. But the wise person asks, what season is this? And then, what does this season require of me? Is it pain, a pause, prayer, the promise, preparation, production, plenty, pleasure, power, pruning, different seasons, different demands, different expressions of human agency. And perhaps this is the ancient initiation hidden inside Ecclesiastes. Wisdom is not mastering time. Wisdom is learning how to move with it. So tonight we enter the assembly, we sit before the Jewish sage, and we ask the question he posed more than 2,000 years ago. What time is it? What season of life are you in? To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the sun. Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 1. It sounds poetic, comforting, almost familiar enough that we stop hearing what it's actually saying. But beneath those words is something much more profound, a philosophy of time, a philosophy of change, and perhaps even a survival guide for human life. Because what if one of the greatest causes of suffering is not simply that something painful is happening? What if part of our suffering comes from trying to live in a season that has already ended? Trying to harvest when life is asking us to plant. Trying to produce when we should be recovering. Trying to hold on when the season has become release. Trying to force summer into the middle of winter. Maybe Ecclesiastes is not simply telling us that life has seasons. Maybe it's telling us, learn to to recognize yours, and then synchronize with it. Notice something important. Ecclesiastes does not divide life into good seasons and bad seasons. It simply calls them seasons. That means that the season you dislike may still have something to ask of you. And the season you love and will not necessarily last forever. This is where Ecclesiastes becomes a lesson about human agency. We have agency, but we do not have sovereignty. We can make decisions, but we cannot command time. We can influence circumstances, but we cannot guarantee outcomes. We can choose how to respond to change, but we cannot prevent everything from changing. And that brings us to a question I believe we should ask far more often. Not simply, what do I want, but what season am I in?